Meet Timur, the most dreadful warlord in history, whose savage deeds echo through time. Despite his physical limitations, he orchestrated unimaginable horrors, leaving a trail of destruction. In this video, we will explore his background and the dark depths of his merciless reign. Daringly breaking the chains of religious tolerance, Timur's thunderous invasion of India aimed to restore balance. With his northern Indian rampage, he seized nearly 100,000 Hindu captives, leaving a trail of crimson in his wake. In a brutal twist, before the epic clash against Sultan Nasir-ud-Din Mahmud for Delhi, Timur mercilessly commanded the execution of every single Hindu soul. However, triumph awaited Tamerlane on the battlefield. Witness the approaching storm. Hindu warriors chose an audacious path. Setting ablaze their homes, they embraced a fiery destiny, sacrificing their beloved wives and innocent children as they charged into the fray. But before we go any further, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. In the annals of history, Genghis Khan stands as the epitome of mass destruction. But lurking in the shadows, Tamerlane emerges as a harrowing second. His conquests left a trail of shattered lands, devoid of functional governance. His marauding armies unleashed a reign of robbery, murder, and pillage, instilling terror in all they encountered. Tamerlane's empire, far from embracing religious tolerance, became a breeding ground for atrocities. Renowned historian Peter Fredet's words echo through time. Never before have such ghastly and numerous acts of cruelty been witnessed, surpassing even those of Alexander the Great, or any conqueror except Tamerlane. Even British historian John Joseph Saunders claimed that, until the rise of Adolf Hitler, Tamerlane stood as the ultimate embodiment of soulless and unproductive militarism. The staggering toll of Tamerlane's campaigns haunts the collective memory. It is estimated that his actions led to the demise of 17 million souls, equivalent to approximately 5% of the world's population at the time, leaving behind a chilling and horrifying legacy. Tamerlane, confronted by Christian Armenian soldiers guarding the town, made them a solemn promise: no bloodshed in exchange for submission. However, the city's defenders ultimately yielded. Tragically, Tamerlane's word turned to dust as he buried 3,000 of them alive, shattering their trust. With an insatiable thirst for dominance over Georgia's Christians, Tamerlane launched 7 relentless invasions. King Bragat V emerged as an indomitable force, resisting his advances. Fueled by fury, Tamerlane swore a sinister vengeance. His marauding soldiers left a trail of devastation, engulfing the countryside in flames and mercilessly taking lives. At Kvab Takkevi, a refuge for terrified locals seeking solace in a monastery, Tamerlane and his ruthless army arrived. The young and strong were forcibly removed from the town, while the old and feeble faced the slash of merciless swords. In a haunting ultimatum, the surviving villagers were forced to choose between immediate conversion or a gruesome demise within their sacred sanctuary. Bravely embracing martyrdom, they prayed to God as their bodies were engulfed by the unforgiving flames. But the horrors orchestrated by Timur did not end with Isfahan. His insatiable lust for conquest led him to another jewel of civilization, Baghdad. Revered as a shining beacon of intellectual and cultural brilliance, this city stood among the grandest of treasures. Tamerlane's army descended upon Baghdad like a swarm of insatiable insects, devouring everything in its path. The city braced itself for an onslaught of unimaginable proportions, a horrific siege that would forever scar its history. In the eyes of its inhabitants, their beloved Baghdad transformed from a haven of peace into a palace of hell and unending conflict. As Tamerlane's massive army camped outside the city gates, the people of Baghdad witnessed a chilling sight. They knew their fate hung in the balance, as the conqueror demanded a ghastly tribute: skulls. The macabre currency of this brutal conqueror's empire were to be piled high into pyramids as a gruesome testament to his power. Each soldier was assigned the task of collecting 2 heads, leaving no home untouched. No sanctuary was spared from the merciless destruction, not even for the frail elderly, innocent children, or defenseless ladies. The city was to be razed to the ground, reduced to rubble by the command of Timur himself. On that fateful day, the streets of Baghdad ran crimson with the blood of its people. 90,000 lives, mostly Muslims, were tragically snuffed out, forever etching a scar upon the conscience of humanity. A horrifying legacy emerged from the ashes as 120 towers, grotesque monuments built with 90,000 skulls, stood as a haunting reminder of the city's agony. Step into the rich tapestry of Isfahan, a city steeped in cultural diversity, economic prosperity, and intellectual brilliance. But behind its vibrant facade lies a chilling tale of conquest, where the city's fate hinged on a dire need for a formidable army. As Tamerlane's relentless horde approached the city gates, a menacing cloud of dust devoured the sky, signaling the imminent destruction that awaited. Sensibly, the inhabitants surrendered without resistance, recognizing the futility of opposing the relentless force that stood before them. With a merciless command, Tamerlane ordered the annihilation of every man, woman, and child, leaving no soul unscathed. The macabre task was given to his bloodthirsty troops, who embarked on a gruesome tally of citizens' severed heads. A ghastly revelation emerged from the depths of this merciless massacre: the construction of 28 towering structures, each harboring a chilling secret within their confines. 1,500 skulls, a macabre testament to the fallen. These grotesque monuments stood as a haunting reminder of the obliteration of between 70,000 and 100,000 lives, a staggering number that encompassed nearly the entire population. No being was spared from Tamerlane's wrath, as even the town's beloved livestock, faithful dogs, and cherished feline companions met a cruel demise. The very essence of Isfahan was drenched in blood, forever stained by the merciless actions of this conqueror. As the dust settled after the initial convulsion of mass murder, a scene of unfathomable horror unfolded. Timur, in a fit of rage, commanded the women and children to be escorted to a desolate plain beyond the city's confines. In a cruel twist, the children under the age of 7 were singled out and isolated from their mothers, setting the stage for an unspeakable atrocity. Without mercy, Timur issued a macabre decree, instructing his men to trample over these innocent souls. The counselors and anguished mothers witnessed this abominable spectacle, fell to their knees pleading for their children's lives. Their pleas, however, fell on deaf ears as Timur's wrath knew no bounds. With a heart hardened by cruelty, he mounted his steed and declared, "Now I should like to see who will not ride after me." In a horrifying display of obedience, his entourage reluctantly followed suit, riding over the defenseless children. Their tiny bodies were mercilessly crushed between the hooves of the horses, painting a ghastly tableau of unimaginable suffering. The carnage was unfathomable, as an estimated 7,000 lives were callously extinguished. As the chilling winds of December 1400 swept through Syria, Tamerlane's armies surged forth, emerging as a formidable enemy of Islam. In response, the valiant Mameluke army, loyal defenders of the Egyptian Sultan, rallied to protect the city. However, after a few clashes, their spirit waned, and they withdrew, leaving the city vulnerable. Braving insurmountable odds, the city stood defiantly for a month, its inhabitants displaying unmatched courage. But as the relentless siege tightened its grip, a wave of unspeakable suffering unfolded. The innocent souls within endured unimaginable horrors: burnings, bastinado, the crushing weight of wine presses, and an array of unspeakable tortures. Rape became an all too common crime, while countless lives were torn apart by enslavement. Helplessly, infants were abandoned to perish when their mothers were torn away, destined for the chains of slavery. Ironically, though Tamerlane proclaimed himself a Muslim, his deadliest massacres befell his fellow Muslims, particularly during his ruthless invasion of Syria. The Muslim leaders of the area, burdened by the weight of his heinous crimes in Damascus, unequivocally labeled him an official enemy of Islam. Once hailed as the scourge of the earth and the dread of Europe, the Ottoman Turks stood on the precipice of conquering Christian Europe's last stronghold. Their formidable shield seemed impervious to the feeble European sword. Midnight terrors haunted the dreams of every Christian child as the Turks reveled in their unchallenged might. Yet, fate intervened in the form of Timur, casting a dark shadow over the Ottoman Empire. Battles lost to Tamerlane reverberated throughout European history, leaving an indelible mark that we struggle to comprehend today. For Bayezid, the tides of fortune shifted drastically. Captured and confined to a tiny iron cage, he was paraded through the streets, a pitiful spectacle for all to witness. His wife, stripped of dignity, was forced to serve Timur's guests. The remnants of the dinner table were cruelly fed to Bayezid, a symbol of his utter humiliation. In the depths of his despair and anguish, Bayezid, once a mighty ruler, resorted to self-destruction. With unyielding intensity, he repeatedly banged his head against the unforgiving bars of his prison, seeking solace in oblivion. His heart-wrenching demise mirrored the desolation that befell his devastated wife. With that said, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. See you in the next video. Till then, take care.